1. You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast, episode 32. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time of day it might be, we welcome you to our 32nd episode of the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. I'm Sewell Time, and I'm here with Sally Bug, Romance Girl, and Green Stego to do a little Destiny talk, as they say in the business. Romance Girl, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're sounding really clear today. It's a good connection. Green Stego, are you there?
I am present.
Also sounding good. And we have a cat situation here already. So if things go blank, we'll know what it is. She really is attracted to the keyboard for some reason. And Sally Bug, are you there? Whoops.
I'm here.
Oh, kitty, you can't.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I heard some people set up a keyboard that's like not plugged in just for their cats to hang out.
Oh, you know what? I think we still have the keyboard.
That's a great idea.
Like the one that you plug into your Dreamcast. Just put that next to.
Don't get rid of the Dreamcast one.
I didn't say get rid of it. Just
don't let the cat sit on
when
that.
the Beach
That's
Boys were in
treasure.
their sort of coming into being very famous, their father, Murray Wilson, was intent on being their producer and engineer, but he wasn't very good at it, so they would give him a control board that wasn't plugged into anything so that he thought he was doing stuff.
That's hilarious.
It's the same principle as the cat keyboard, right? She thinks she's ruining your day, but oh no, she knows we're talking about her. Anyway, let's kick off this episode. There's a lot to talk about, and thank you, Sally Bug, for sort of organizing our thoughts and giving us some sort of compass here to go by. There's been a couple of TWABs since we last broadcast on episode 31. So the April 29th TWAB had some interesting things in it. And let's talk about the end of the season, the final seasonal challenges, and earning that Master of All Triumphs emblem. How do you earn that Master of All Triumphs emblem?
Well, I think it's. I mean, to me, it's maybe it's a triumph thing, but I thought you had to get all of the seasonal challenges. So for sure, I was like going, okay, there's going to be some of these that are just, especially that infamy. Man, you must have had to really grind Gambit.
Yeah.
To reset your infamy like 5 times. It's like nuts. Like I think I've reset it twice, and I felt like I played more than my fair share of Gambit. But at any rate, it turns out that they do give you, like, I think they do give you leeway on a couple of them. So, but you do still have to do quite a few of them. I think there's 7. I don't know how many there are altogether. I think there's like 77 or something like that. And they do allow, like, there's a couple. They give you kind of a couple of freebies that you don't have to complete, and you still get access to that.
Grandmaster and Trials is what most people would skip.
Right, because those are definitely the harder ones. I found the Gambit like that, like I'm nowhere near that one. And then there's another one. It's probably the Trials one. Well,
I think for these kinds of things, I'm glad they're putting things in the game for people who do play this game quite a bit. I know they get a lot of hate for playing the game so much, but I think that if they do want to play
Just
the game
from
that
us.
much, it's nice that they're
'Cause we're
they're
jealous.
throwing them a bone. Yeah. You know, I realize that a lot of these things are out of my reach, but I think that's okay because I'm a casual player and
Sure.
I was never
Right.
going to get all of the seasonal challenges.
Yeah.
Right. It was nice to have a checklist though, and to have a focus. Right. I've talked about that in the past of how I can get Destiny ADD so easily, and sometimes it was nice to say, okay, I've only got like an hour or so to play. What do I want to focus on? And it was nice to kind of have that go-to seasonal challenges thing. It's like, okay, well, I could just do those few things, or I could work on that particular challenge, and it gave me I liked that checklist.
Me too.
Didn't always work to keep me focused, but it did a pretty good job. So
Yes. Yeah. And of course,
I appreciated.
you know, a truth. I'll be honest. If I don't get the emblem, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's an okay emblem.
It's okay. I guess if you're a fan of green, it's got that greenish. It kind of looks like a I know it's got a little bit of cosmic feel to it, or Aurora Borealis feel to it.
Yeah.
But
more
definitely
like
a
geometric.
green and
organic.
a little bit.
I'm seeing like a mustard yellow / I mean, I guess
I am
chartreuse
seeing
if
the
I'm being
mustard.
really generous. I'm not seeing a green here.
I'm seeing a mustard salad.
I mean, maybe it's just the screen that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you might want to adjust your settings.
Adjust my colors.
And then when you see the mustard, you're perfect.
It's okay, but it's certainly not like, oh, I really need that emblem. In all honesty, I can't imagine. I can't I'm thinking, and it's like there's been emblems that I've really enjoyed the look of and liked, but like I don't ever remember seeing an emblem going, oh, I definitely want to go after that one. Like emblems just.
You also get a
do it for
sizable
me.
bright dust sum.
Oh, that is true.
I think that's the real prize.
I think it's like 4,000. Is that right?
It's like
it's quite a bit.
I think
Yeah,
Richard
it's pretty
did achieve
big,
this,
sure.
and he said he was disappointed with the amount of bright dust.
Well, he could have seen the amount of bright dust before he went for it.
Yeah.
They did have it.
He was going to
displayed
get
at
it
the beginning of the
regardless. Let's face it.
I think it's more like a lump of bright dust rather than a pile of bright dust.
I don't know. I think
It's all
4,000 is pretty
relative.
generous.
It's all
all
relative.
relative.
Myself.
Yeah. And
And it may be less than if you did all of the weekly bounties from before the change.
oh
Well,
my
how
gosh,
much-
could you imagine if you
they
nailed
already
all
went
those?
over
That'd be a lot of bright dust.
They did the math and they confirmed before the season came out that this
How
was
much were-
definitely more bright dust.
Yeah,
than
how much were the
weekly.
ornaments?
6,000.
I feel like that should have been
6K.
the goal then, so that you could have like gone in and gotten one package of ornaments with
Yeah.
bright dust.
Yeah, probably 6,000.
If you
That
just
sounds
put
right.
in your gut.
There was also bright dust gifts for the other challenges. So if you were
That's
saving up,
true.
you probably could have.
Okay, so 6,000
could've.
minus the sum of total of those other things, maybe.
Probably was about 4,000. They're probably mathematicians who I don't work.
They
this
know what
all
they're
out
doing.
Anyway.
Anyways, we're
Move
picking,
on.
we're
When it
picking
comes-
at
Yeah,
the little things now.
exactly. So it's time to move
Moving
on to
on.
the other mention here is in that earlier TWAB was what the French call the voûte de verre, right?
Voûte de verre.
Yeah, it's translates roughly as the vault of glass, right? So they did mention that the Vault of Glass will release on May 21st? May 11th?
No, not May 11th.
May 15th.
May 22nd.
I was all over the
22nd.
map.
Come on.
May 22. All right, May 22. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nostalgic, but I'm looking forward to also the sort of extras that they're putting around it, the extra challenges. I'm Are you guys planning on watching the race to World's First at all?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, it'll be nice to. I honestly, we've done Vault of Glass, like being that all of us are seasoned players and played Vault of Glass.
Maybe we should get World's First.
But I don't know. I mean, I think I'd rather watch people than have that. I don't like the pressure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't like that. I mean, it's pressure enough to try, and we're gonna be rusty, right? So I probably am. I probably am gonna watch World's First race.
I gotta believe there's been an uptick.
It's different. It's gonna be different,
Yeah.
right?
But I gotta believe there's an uptick of people going into D1 and practicing on the Vault of Glass.
For sure.
It's still live.
So apparently, like what it said in the TWAB was.
I would just like to say that I looked it up and it's Caveau de Ver.
It's not Voûte de Ver?
No,
Caveau
just
de
I don't
Ver.
know if that's just based on the Bungie translation. So.
Caveau is cave.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but it might be just a more.
Yeah, it might have sounded more too bank
accurate
like a
translation
bank
to a
vault of
French.
glass if you say Voûte de
Right,
Ver,
yeah.
right?
Right.
And so they changed
Right.
it to Caveau de Ver. Ah, interesting. I like it.
Just a little tidbit.
Yeah.
So when it first loads in, when they first do it, if I read it right, you have to complete the Vault of Glass first, and then they have a whole series that unlocks some challenges
Yes.
that you then have to do for each encounter. And if you get through all of those challenges up to the end, and you're the first one to complete all of those challenges, then you get the world's first belt, which is
Oh my
silver
gosh.
instead of gold, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we have a picture of it, don't we?
No. I mean, yes.
And and the thing about it is they kind of gave a nod to the team that did get world's first.
Oh yeah, it's on the belt.
It's actually on the belt, which is pretty cool. I think that's
Yeah.
giving
Well,
us
our
What team was it?
our good friend Philip Carlisle talked about if he got that belt, he might wear it checking out at Walmart, with his bugles and his cool blue Gatorade.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be a great picture to upload to Twitter.
One of the things about those challenges, though, is if you wipe, you go to orbit. It's like a complete reset.
This is reminding me a little bit, not the white mechanic, but the challenges we had for the Taken King raid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oryx.
Mm-hmm.
And there
That
was
was
one
back
for
with-
each encounter.
God, that was back when we had more fire in our belly to do those challenges. Remember that, like Golgoroth and all those.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking back, and I'm surprised because I have so many memories of attempting all of those challenges and wanting to not do the Golgoroth one anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm trying with that. That kind of gives me PTSD. I'm not sure.
And
was a tough one.
doing the priest challenge. Remember that? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was so
Yeah.
hard for us.
So I imagine
that was
it'll be
so
similar
hard.
to that.
You know what? I'm going to
PTSD
go
is
out on a
right.
limb and say I think Chroma was the catalyst to that. I feel like he was just like, we can do this. Back
Yeah.
when
Yeah. Well, then he was known as Chromatic, if you recall.
Chromatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chromatic was
He was the
I think
catalyst
he
to
was-
doing those challenges.
'cause he
wanted
pressuring us to get those
He
done.
wanted those rewards.
He likes those types of things
Sure.
anyway. Yeah.
Well, it was good. He pushed us.
He did.
We were
He
a
did.
real raid team.
Back then. Now we're just a casual raid team.
Oh, that's
Hey,
sad.
but at least we're doing that. We're still kind of like
We're still
Doing the
trucking.
raids, which
We're
is great.
still
Yep.
trucking. Yeah, indeed.
All right. So, and then there was a whole lot of talk. There was a whole lot of
Chit chat.
information on that TWAB, the TWAB from last week, not this week, on their heavy weapon philosophy. Did you guys have a chance to read that over at all? And of what
I
they
read it a couple of weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago, yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but a vague memory now.
Right. They, I felt like the whole diatribe of talking about heavy weapons was more to give their like philosophy on why their linear fusion rifles are in the state that they're in now, that they had a specific role for the linear fusion rifles.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like with that philosophy, like they just had in their head a certain role for each heavy weapon. Like the machine guns would be ad clearing, and then the rocket launchers were either like take down like a single target or potentially ad clearing depending on the type of the rocket launcher. But then the linear fusion rifles and the exotic sniper rifles were more designed to do sustained
DPS
precision damage, right? And they agreed that the linear fusion rifles were not
they were crap
expectations. I mean, they certainly didn't.
They were underperforming.
Yeah, they certainly weren't compared to, like, if you can pull out pretty much any other weapon and it do better damage than those. I mean, I think there were weapons that you could pull out in your energy slot and do better damage than the linear fusions, even if you were hitting crit spots the whole time. So I find them hard to work with too. Like I
do not think that I don't know. I have trouble. I feel like they're harder sometimes to work with than a sniper rifle, and yet a sniper rifle is special ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I find that too. I feel like they have the kick is more, and then you've got the charge up part, and that's different depending on the weapon.
Certainly,
but
the hitbox is bigger. I'll admit that. It's easier.
Right.
I mean,
for
technically, they try to counteract that with a bigger hitbox. But if you're decent with a sniper, then that's not going to be enough.
Right. For me, it was just like I get it but the precision damage especially was not always something that I could like do consistently, especially with the linear fusion rifles.
Man,
and so the buff they gave them was to just increase their precision damage, but they didn't increase.
Well, they also
damage.
Didn't they do something with the ammo reserves? They gave you a little more boost there as well.
Right. So you have more ammo.
Yeah.
So you do have more ammo. So you have a potential of it. That is important because I think some of them had pretty low ammo reserves. So
Sally Bug, I remember I was telling you I was glued to a I really used a linear fusion was my go-to heavy slot for a while. Previously, it was the Crooked Fang, and it didn't have any kick to it. So I could just really DPS. And I remember using it on bosses, especially like in the sort of the Festival of the Lost, the Haunted Forest. I'd pull that thing out and just like, and it had box breathing. So I'd pause a little bit and then just go to town with it. And it did really well back then. But,
I mean, with the changes to the weapon perks, which we're actually going to be getting to next, with the changes to if you have like just like a very good, like a god roll, like say the no distractions and Um, I don't know. I don't know what another good perk would be, but no distractions is getting a buff or getting a change that will help it. So,
AKA a buff.
so
We'll see.
maybe if you get like a really good, like if you can put like a mod on there to help the kick with it, help it with its kick, or help it with its target acquisition.
Honestly, the issue I have with linear fusion rifles and other heavies isn't in those weapons themselves. It's that the sword, I find, is so much more economical with heavy ammo that it's very hard for me to choose something other than a sword unless they're forcing me to via bounty.
Yeah, I hear that.
Well, I mean, but like, say you're not going to use a sword for, like a boss, like say the boss at the end of Garden of Salvation. But then again, why would you pick a linear fusion rifle over Xenophage? Anytime you need to get
if you don't, if you didn't have an exotic, yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
exotic spot open.
Yeah, if you didn't have Xenophage, but even then, I think I might pick. I just feel like
I'd pick a
I would
machine
use the
gun,
sword
but-
for ad clearing, and then use a sniper in my energy slot.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
I still can't, even with this change, I still don't. I mean, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but
I mean,
for me, I just don't see
if they
me
bring
going
it back
and
to the days
choosing
of
that.
the sleeper simulant when it was in its glory.
Yeah, they need to
That's
rebuff sleeper
true.
simulant.
And
Yeah,
that was
I mean, some people are saying this buff will give Sleeper a new light, and it probably will, because Sleeper actually does have pretty decent target acquisition.
Sleeper has been sleeping lately, though.
yes, it has been.
Sleeper's been sleeping
And-
on the job.
Remember, it used to be
And-
OP in Gambit. You'd go
Yeah,
over
and
and
then they
invade,
nerfed it to its grave.
and they nerfed it
Mhm.
into
Yeah,
oblivion.
They nerfed it so much, it's just like, okay, yep.
They should have
never
just
got
nerfed
that
it for
again.
Gambit.
Game mode too.
I do want to bring
I
up
know.
two
That's a
other
good point.
linear fusion rifles before we move on that I'm interested in trying out post buff. Obviously, Arbalest.
Arbalest, yeah.
Arbalest is dope, faux show. And let's not forget, with this season of the Splicer, it's a Elixir themed season, a little bit. The Queenbreaker's bow.
Queenbreaker's bow.
Yeah.
I keep going back to try it, and I don't know. It's the ammo that really does it for me. I can't.
Right.
They're also increasing the reserves, and they may do like individual tuning for some of the exotics.
I know. But I'm
Queenbreaker's
saying that I
bow-
have trouble with heavy across all heavy types.
Yeah.
Heavy ammo.
Yeah. I think that
Right,
if you're going to
right.
use an exotic linear heavy fusion rifle, it would be difficult under any circumstance to justify using
Yeah, you have
Queenbreaker's
to-
bow
you have to have
over
those-
Right.
Sleeper.
Yeah.
You have to have the
Yeah,
double mods.
I could never get. I mean,
for
even
ammo.
with the exotic ones, I'm going to put them in the same slot as any other linear fusion rifles. I just could not get. I'm not good enough.
Do we know?
I'm not
that
good enough
seems
with
like
them
completely
that.
aside from the buffs that are going.
Hope the School of Rock don't comment.
As an aside,
I would ask: They're probably buffing all the exotic linear fusion separately, like they did with the rockets.
Probably,
they
yeah.
did not. It was not mentioned in the TWAB that the exotics were going to be, because I remember when they were doing other buffs to certain things, they said, well, the exotics aren't included in this buffs, but they did not say that in the TWAB this time around. So
that I guess would be something to look out for in the patch.
Yeah, that'll be
notes
something
when
to
they
look
launch.
it is something to look for, yeah, when it goes live.
And then my one other
They're
thing
also
is, now that it's
making-
been a season, how does everyone feel about the rocket launcher buff? Because that would be a good indicator on if they are able to.
I enjoyed
I
using the season,
these.
the code duello.
I did choose a rocket launcher a lot more often this season. So there were times when I would definitely pick a rocket launcher. I liked the new weapon perks they like lasting impression.
The
I think
lasting
was
impression,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of
Impulse
perks that were like,
amplifier on the bow.
yeah, I feel like they really did make.
So maybe
I think they
linear
made
fusion
enough
rifles will be
changes.
similar.
Yeah, maybe I'll be proven wrong, or I just
have
need to get good.
I have also enjoyed using the threaded needle this season.
I think threaded needle is a lot of fun to use. And I think all of the seasonal weapons actually feel really good to use.
And I have
I'd
two
agree.
rolls that I'm keeping for threaded needle, and I'm interested to try them both out once the buff hits. One with rapid hit,
So let's.
and one with
Ooh.
field prep, which does increase ammo reserve.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm always
they're also-
I'm always mixed about that field prep. But for that
I
weapon
never
might be
remember
good.
to squat to do it, right? To crouch to get
Yeah.
that benefit. I always forget in the heat of a moment. My
It's
brain
mostly
can't
for the
remember. Oh,
reserve.
this one has field
It's
prep.
actually the bigger part of the perk.
yeah, I think that I'm mostly
Rapid hit, yeah.
He's mostly into it for the reserves.
exactly.
So, and they are making some weapon perk changes. There's some weapon perks that they felt needed buffing, and some.
Cough, iron reach, cough.
I deleted
pretty
all
much.
my iron.
I'm gonna say
Any of those Iron Banner
any of the
perks.
Iron Banner ones. There were other ones too. I can't quite remember. Maybe they were the Adept ones, but there were ones where the penalty was just so bad that it was like, and you couldn't make up for it with any other mod. And then by having to make up for it with another mod, you now couldn't use your mod of choice that you would on that weapon. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of a, so they reduced that reduction. I think they reduced the penalty from 40 to 30. For me, that 30 penalty is still quite a bit. That's still a huge hit. So
Gosh, how do you remember this stuff?
I wrote it down and I
Oh.
have the notes in front of me.
You actually did homework for this
Wow,
podcast?
you're really making her spill all the secrets.
Wow,
The secret is she did her work.
I quit.
No, you have to do all the you do all the
I do
technical
all the
stuff in the
man
background.
behind the curtain stuff. Right, exactly.
Right.
Okay, I'm still in.
We should move on though, because we do have quite a bit.
We
of
got a
swap to
lot.
get.
Yeah,
and,
we
and
do.
We're getting bogged down by these tiny.
Osmosis and elemental capacitor are going to be include stasis.
Nice.
I like that.
My I am looking forward to Mida being
Yay! Me too.
a
I like Mida.
because they're taking Mida,
They're changing outlaw to no distractions.
which got a buff, right? That
Yeah.
like the no distractions like takes less time, I think, to like kick in, because before it, like when you're aiming down sights. And Mida is such a great weapon anyway. It's got like 100% target acquisition.
Agreed that the outlaw was
Mida.
wasted perk.
It was, right.
Just had such a
So
fast reload.
I think no distractions, especially with its
And they're bringing
its
back the
buff.
Tlaloc too. I can't wait.
No, they
they are
aren't.
not.
Well, Hung
This is
Jury.
misinformation.
Hung Jury's the legendary Tlaloc.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
No, I know.
You're
I'm
jumping
just
ahead.
Whoa,
foreshadowing.
spoilers.
Now let's get to the next,
Spoilers.
the TWAB of this week.
This week's TWAB.
And they didn't really buff Hawk Moon, but I guess that like the
Nobody
next for
cares
the
about that. We can move on.
Paracasual.
No one cares. No one
No.
cares.
All right. No one cares. Let's get to this week's squad.
I
That's
care.
what everybody cares
Come
about.
on. She's like
I actually was
dilly
using Hawkmoon
dallying,
last
and
night,
we're like,
but I still don't
can we
care.
talk about the babies? Can we talk
That's
about
what
the
they really
babies?
want. That's what you guys
All
really
right,
want to talk
so
about today.
I do have to ask this: have any of you did any of you put yourself on the email list for when the plushie is available?
I bet you did. Obviously, you just revealed that you did.
I totally did. Are you kidding me? The Fallen baby is
Oh,
the cutest.
no.
I want that plushie plushie along with a Baby Yoda plushie. We'll just have like
And then have them battle it out.
All together.
Like,
They'd be
babies all
friends.
over. They'll be friends. I am going to let you guys discuss this while I take a short break.
Okay.
I do want to say that in the chat, Richard has said hung jury is king of scouts.
Yeah, and it is a lot like, it reminded me of the feel of the Tlaloc had.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm going to be honest, and I just don't remember hung jury.
Oh, okay. Well.
And I don't think that's anything to do with hung jury. I think it's been so long, and I can barely remember a weapon I used last season. Let alone
I know.
weapon I used
know exactly
years
what you
ago.
mean.
I really admire people who can remember all their weapons and their perks, but they all blend together for me. A scout rifle is a scout rifle.
Yeah. So did anybody get a chance to see the Season of the Splicer trailer that was issued this past week?
Yeah, we watched it a few times.
Oh, okay. So you had a positive reaction to it then, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're watching it more than once. I have watched it a couple of times too. And I did watch a couple of breakdowns, or at least one breakdown by a popular streamer / content creator who took a look at bit by bit and broke down some of the things that are in that trailer that I would miss normally, because I don't do that. But besides the baby Fallen, what was your what hyped
favorite
you?
thing from the
what made an impression?
What's the hype? The biggest thing overall for me is just the visual aesthetic of the season that they're going for. Honestly, the babies are very cute. I'm a big fan of the Elixni babies, but I just love the direction that we're going in terms of just like the colors.
Color story, the science fiction, bright neon aesthetics.
Yeah, somebody said it almost had sort of a prophecy dungeon feel to it.
Yeah, I got that too.
It does have a bit of a prophecy to it.
Tron,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
There's a lot of crossover there where they both have this kind of like influence of Tron, but that is just
I agree.
to say that it's like sci-fi and glow in the dark and neon and digital, and I just love it.
Welcome to the Vex rave, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of cool. I do like the psychedelic Vex. It's pretty neat. And the storyline does not look like it is slowing down or lagging. It looks like we're getting right into some more good, exciting. And the way, and Sallybug and I were talking about this, the way they planted that seed so long ago in that one mission, Enemy of My Enemy, and now that we're kind of closing that loop now, coming back to it and revisiting, being friends with the Fallen, having a common enemy in the Vex. So I'm looking forward to that too. That's not getting old for me at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Richard says Tron style. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we hear that Richard likes to dress up in Tron style with neon glowing.
He is not going to like that. You're lying
exaggerating.
to the audience.
He's exaggerating. Viewers,
so I'm going to have to.
Well, let's put it this way: he would if he could. He would if he could.
No, he wouldn't.
No, you don't think so?
I wouldn't put it past him to actually use like a Blade Runner umbrella. You know, where it looks almost like a lightsaber.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I think that going any more than that might be a little too flashy for our dear friend Ghost.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't appreciate the slander.
Well, I don't think putting somebody in a Tron suit is slander, but I think it's kind of putting them on a pedestal, and they can, give him the motors. He wants the motorcycle.
Now everyone thinks they're cool.
Well, yes.
Only if it includes the disc. I love it. He says only if it
I've
includes
never
the
seen
disc.
Tron.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So I
full
don't get that
disclosure. I've
reference.
never seen Tron, so it's hard for me to
Oh,
say.
you
Oh,
gotta
it's
see
just
Tron.
I know the
Well,
aesthetics of Tron. I've obviously seen like not like references to it, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I knew when I saw the trailer, people would call it Tron-esque. I know that much about it,
right.
Yeah.
but that's about as far as my
there-
knowledge of it goes.
There was also a there's been Tron video games, right, over the years. I remember
Destiny
an
too.
old gosh, I remember being a kid and there was a Tron arcade game, if you could remember arcades. Well, you guys can't, but I can.
There's still arcades. I had a bunch of vaccinated people on Twitter showing off that they went to the arcade.
Aw.
Oh. Okay.
Still a thing. People love arcades.
It's still a thing. All right.
Nice.
Good to know.
So let's talk about the roadmap. What's ahead of us? Where are we going? Let's do it. Sally Bug?
So six-person match made activity. Did you guys talk about that while I was gone?
I'm excited about that. No, we didn't. We
No,
didn't
we
talk.
actually haven't
I'm
talked about much
excited.
beyond the Tron.
Yeah, just our impressions. The overall aesthetic really impressed us. That's all we've really talked about. And Richard has Tron pajamas. And yeah, so Sally Bug, somehow you went mute. I don't know if you have to leave and come back on the Discord. I can hear her talking back there, but nothing in the chat. Hello? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I
I'm
can
waiting
hear
for
you,
Sally.
Oh,
sometimes,
okay.
but
All
I
right.
cannot
I'm back.
hear Sally.
She's
Bug
back.
too. I
Hear
think you need.
Yes.
There we go.
Hello?
There we go.
There we
Hello.
are.
What were you
We're here.
bantering on
Hello?
about?
Was bantering on about the six-person match made activity.
Which is called? Do you remember the name of it?
No.
Oh.
Override?
Override. There you go. That's the ticket.
So, yeah, I think it seems like besides the main storyline, which obviously I'm excited to kind of see where Mithrax is going. I like the idea. You and I talked about this a little bit soul time on our own about how it really does look like we're leaning towards, instead of fighting like all of these aliens that we've been fighting, we're now like creating an alliance with and becoming partners with. And so that's super cool, right?
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
We've forged an alliance with the Cabal. Now we're in partnership with not only Varix but Mithrax. So, yeah.
Is a ceasefire the same as an alliance?
Is it a ceasefire? I thought it was
would-
called more than just a ceasefire with the Cabal.
I thought, yeah, I don't know if maybe there was another development in the story, but last I heard, Zavala made it clear that it wasn't an alliance.
Yeah,
but
I would.
understanding.
I'd call it more of an armistice.
Got it. Well,
Anyway,
all right then.
it's certainly not somebody
Richard
that we're not
says
going
that
for their
he,
blood
meaning
right now.
Mithrax, helped us get Outbreak, so Mithrax, is my best friend.
He's my best friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Who here killed Mithrax?
He's the one
in Destiny
saving
1?
all the fallen babies, all the Elixni babies. So
Who killed
Yes.
Mithrax?
we like Mithrax.
Did anyone spare Mithrax here in that original mission?
I think I did both just to see the outcomes. In the enemy of my
Guys,
enemy.
I think the first time
You guys are like spoiling my. You're spoiling my.
This is
such
many
an
years old.
avatar.
This is several years old, this information.
Yeah.
But you're.
There's no
we're gonna
spoiling.
discuss it and.
No, I was just asking if they killed. No, if you killed Mithrax in that original mission. When the first time I went through it did, but then I saw a video later saying that there was an option not to. I didn't even know.
Yeah, there is an option. I remember seeing somebody talking about it. So next time I did it, I didn't kill him or whatever. And there's some dialogue with the ghost too in that talks about, it's
Richard says he saved him.
of course because
Y'all
he gave him his outbreak. That's why you got the outbreak prime, and you get a special emblem too for saving him, don't you? For sparing him.
I don't think so.
No, that would have been cool.
There was a special emblem that would have been cool, but you do get the whatever you were like a core or there was something.
Right.
So, what are we most excited for on the roadmap?
Not trials. Iron Banner's supposed to have a refresh, isn't it? Some new stuff.
They should have put that on the roadmap. New Iron Banner.
Yeah.
Well, so it looks
May
like we have
18th.
like the storylines and then the six-man match made activity. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun to have something to do with our clan mates. It's more than just three of us online.
But the question was, what are you looking forward to most as you have this roadmap in front of you? I guess I would have to say I'm looking forward
the story
to the override the most. Override, which is the story, right?
Oh,
Override is the six-player activity,
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the weekly missions that are the story.
The weekly pinnacle
missions.
mission is going to be like advancing the story,
and it's going to be the way they distribute
I'm looking
weapons.
forward to just feeling how because they did such a great job with the story last season, this recent most recent season, and now we've got like another season that is going to be Elixni themed, and it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
So
I'm looking for, because the writing's been great in the story team and lore
from
team.
Richard, he says, if I don't get a Tron Sparrow, I'm going to riot. And I think we can all agree with this.
I think
so too.
Can't argue with that. No, I'll join the riot.
No, can't I? In all honesty, I really do like this aesthetic. I like it quite a bit. So it'll be interesting.
The colors
I'm wondering
are great.
if there's going to be any.
So excited.
They never disappoint in this department.
Things that they don't put in the roadmap that are going to be surprises. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any surprises.
Yeah, they have a exotic quest that's not on here.
Yeah, that's true too. That's not on there. Seasonal armor is now earned in game and not in the season pass.
I like that change.
I didn't like it at first because I thought, oh, okay, so that's just devaluing the season pass. But it's seasonal activities that are giving it to you. So I think you still need the season pass to do the activity. So I was like, it's all right. I like it.
The one thing that I'll miss about it was that I know that when I was leveling up a character, when I was going through the leveling up process and I was missing like just one item, you could get a drop from your season passes when you pull a piece of armor.
Now you're going to have to focus it in, Graham,
at the level that you need it. So I'm gonna miss like being able to fill up and say, oh, I can get my light level up 1 or 2 but the light level.
But you shouldn't be able to level up by turning in your season
quite
pass.
A bit.
So I'm glad that they changed that.
Yeah.
Good point.
And but like you said, the power level system is changing, so we don't need that as much anymore.
Yeah. So I'm actually, I feel like there's more of a connect with the armor by getting it from the activity than just kind of like pulling it out of the season pass. So
especially how every season you would get a fully high ranked set of armor. It felt a little dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that. It was like, what's the point of really grinding for armor if you're just gonna get the best set you're gonna get all season?
Here's exactly, but here's the thing. I thought that there were like 3 sets, weren't there? 3 sets of armor for each character in that season pass. I felt like at least 2 full sets.
No, it was the same. It's the
No, there
same
were 3
set.
sets.
It's the
No,
same
I
set.
know.
The
I know
same
it's the
set.
same set of
That,
armor,
you-
but like they had several pieces. So as you leveled up, what it did for me was it enabled me, like, suppose you had bad RNG and your class item just wasn't coming up.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell
Well, I was
Sally Bug,
saying.
is that they
Yeah.
are now having you focus on umbral engrams for a specific.
And,
Right.
and I
Armor
like
piece.
that. I really like that intentionality they're giving us.
Yeah.
And so, and also too, you don't need that. You're not going to really need that for light level anymore when we're just going up 10. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it's
And
become
I
redundant.
myself. I
Yeah.
did find myself not using the Umbral recaster for focusing as much, and it's like, because why bother? You
Shame
can just
on
go in
you.
your season pass and get that piece, right? So now they'll
Same.
all have a reason.
It just
to
makes
go
it
and
feel
say,
more
okay,
meaningful.
now I'm going to go to the
What
Umbral
we're losing in
I'm gonna go
free
to the
loot, we're
recaster
gaining in meaningful loot.
to get my class item or whatever.
What
so,
we're losing
yeah,
in free
I feel
loot,
like the
we're gaining.
I feel like the changes
Meaningful.
were
Okay.
positive
I agree
in the
with
long
that.
run. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's all good.
The
What about the
ornaments
fact?
are still
And I know Richard's
dropping.
going to like this. What about the fact that we're getting 30 new? Now, new is in quotes because some of these are coming back from D1, but we're getting 30 new
they're
weapons.
reissues.
30
They're getting
more
a
weapons.
lot of weapons.
We're getting
There's a lot of
There are a
loot getting
lot of new
dropped.
weapons,
Yeah.
and they're looking nice. They're looking really good. They've got that
Have you guys
Tron
looked
aesthetic.
over like all of them to see if there's
No,
any
not
one in
all of them.
particular
There's a
that
ton.
you're excited about?
I don't get excited about weapons.
I can't until I start using
until I start
this.
using them. Then I'm like, oh, I'm excited about
I am
this. 'cause
very
it feels
excited about the
good.
looks of them, though, and the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the aesthetic. Yeah, I just want them for that alone. I don't care how much that shader costs. I'm going to spend however much it costs to get it.
Even
So I can
silver?
put it on every weapon. Well, maybe not silver, but
Maybe not silver.
Bright
Exactly.
right.
But like I said, the seasonal weapons this season, they all just feel
yeah,
so
I
good.
mean-
So I'm excited. I think that they're the direction they're going in has been good.
They've
Yep.
kind of hit. They're hitting all the right notes here. I think there's going to be a lot to choose from, and it'll be fun to just kind of like be able to pull other things out and
Fun?
use different things.
Who said anything about fun?
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something,
Get out of
y'all,
here,
and I
Old.
don't. It's not related to the weapons. I'm really sorry.
uh,
I don't want to derail us.
Spit it out.
I don't wanna-
No. Before you say this, can you just lean back in your chair? Thank you. Okay, now go
stop
ahead.
It.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So funny.
I'm gonna go back a little bit to the Vault of Glass Day 1 Raid Challenge, and I'm thinking tying in to this Twitch streamer shader that some people got. Romance Girl, I know that you have a copy of this from like gifting subs.
Uh-huh.
I want them to do a new one for that Day 1 raid.
Oh, to get
Oh, a
people.
shader.
That's a good idea.
Oh.
To get people to tune in, you get a special shader and/or emblem.
Yep. Exactly.
The
That's
day
what I
one
want.
raid.
Because I think that the Day 1 raid event can feel like that's. I think I said this before, but that gives me like the Olympics feeling
That they were
more
trying to
than
go for.
Guardian games.
Yeah.
Because a big
yeah.
part of the Olympics is that I don't actually participate in it.
Right.
I'm just
Well,
a
this-
spectator.
And this is also their this is their the closest Bungie, the closest Destiny gets to an esport are these world first runs,
True.
right? So why not? Yeah, why not
That'd be a
promote the
fun.
hell out
That'd
of
be a
it?
fun thing to do. That's a
Yeah.
good idea, Daniel.
is
Especially
a
because
very good
they're in
idea. I like
cahoots
it.
with Twitch and Amazon because they already have the Prime Gaming rewards,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Yep.
already, like you said, they already have the
Sure.
Twitch sub emblem and shader that I love. I love that shader.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having some technical issues. I only heard about 50% of what everybody was saying, so I switched my Discord from my computer to my phone so I can hear you.
Yeah, you sound great now.
It was hard to participate in the conversation
Yeah,
because
we
I
need to
wasn't
set up that
hearing
laptop
everything.
for you. I think it'll be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
Anyway,
a couple before we leave weapons? The Cryothesia 77K. Anybody see that? It is the stasis sidearm. Is this our first stasis? No, it's our second stasis
Do we
weapon.
have a picture?
Let me see if we have a picture of that. We do indeed. There it is. It's so we have a picture for our YouTube audience. You're gonna have to
Richard
imagine it in
wants
your
transmog for
minds.
weapons.
There you go, Richard.
Richard wants transmog for weapons.
Oh,
I really wish they
Jeez.
had.
We haven't even-
this transmog for weapons.
well, Ada's gonna need a baby Fallen to help
that's a
her out.
no. Nope.
So this
No transmog for weapons.
this is controversial. This upset some people. I noticed in Twitter and on YouTube's that
I mean, it's primarily the PvP.
That's what I was going to say. Is I wish they
PvP.
were a little more responsible about introducing this weapon, because I don't like that the whole conversation and dialogue around it was, what about PvP?
I know,
Right.
I know, and I my heart goes out to the PvP fans.
Same. And
It really does.
actually, I'll take this opportunity to say what I was telling Daniel is that they do need to do something for the PvP players, or they need to communicate to them, this is what you can expect. This is the
Right.
amount of work we can put into the PvP side. If this isn't enough, then
Because they've
well, we don't
been
have
kind of
to-
saying we think about it. We
yeah,
have
I
plans.
feel like they're stringing them along at this point, and I am not the first to say that, but it does feel at this point I can say that it's like they keep promising changes, but at some point you need to say, you know what, this rotating sandbox and this amount of maps is what we're capable of giving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if that's
I mean,
not
a lot
enough,
of the
True.
A lot of the players that are PvP focused are just saying, "Hey, look, okay." Like it's almost like at this point they've just accepted stasis, and they still are hanging around because they love the gunplay so much. But they're just saying, "Could you just give us one or two maps,
Even
if
an
you're
old
just
map.
bringing back D1
Bring back
maps,
old
just
maps, yeah.
Bring back a couple of D1 maps. Do something.
Yeah.
And maybe they will, and they're just not telling us. But I highly doubt it. I don't know. I don't.
well, that's
know.
what I'm saying is that they need to be a little more upfront. Like if there are more maps coming, say it. But if there aren't more maps in the works at current, there should be a
Right.
You know, it should be a little bit more clear about that.
They
and
should
I'm saying
say
this
it
is not a
one way or the
PvP
other.
player. I'm saying this on behalf of
Yeah.
PvP players who I'm usually like, quiet down, you'll get your time. But now I'm like, maybe they won't get their time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a concern.
Yeah.
It's a concern.
It is. I feel like in being a non-PvP player, I just well, they are bringing they're putting a couple of new modes in the on the rotating playlist, but I don't think it's anything anybody's going to be excited
I don't
about.
understand.
No, it's not enough.
I don't understand.
Definitely not.
Really, very much in depth. I don't go in. I just don't have a deep understanding of deep enough understanding of game development, but also game coding to know whether it's viable or not. But one of the things I appreciate about Kujay's videos is he really relies, and I don't get the impression that he claims to be, a video game developer or anything, but one of the things I really respect about his solutions his little videos, and I encourage everybody to look at his Crucible, how to fix the Crucible video, most of his ideas are based on stuff that's already occurred in the game. So he's going on, well, if you did it back in Forsaken, or if you did it back here, you can apply that same change to Crucible in this way here. And it's really smart. It's really well thought out. And even if things aren't doable, I think Bungie really needs to look at what this guy's doing. And he's got some elegant...
I feel like I have the opposite reaction to his videos where I'm like, that would not be feasible. That would not be feasible.
Everything's
You're saying,
simple and elegant,
last
though.
time, but do it like this. And I think like this is the problem. But I appreciate
Have you watched the
hearing your
Crucible
point of view,
one?
though.
Have you watched the Crucible
Yes.
one? Yeah, I
Yes,
really...
unless he made another one recently.
No.
I actually just, I mean, it's just I actually appreciate you hearing that because it's just, I obviously don't think that my opinion is the end-all opinion. So it's nice to hear someone else think
I
the
feel like...
opposite and just to get another perspective on how you're perceiving those videos. Because sometimes
I took the time to read the criticism too.
Screen.
And I did take time to read his criticisms, like in his comments as well.
Yeah.
And weighed it out against how I feel about what might be going on. And I think overall, I mean, not everything is probably going to be doable, but overall, I like his approach to making Crucible great again.
Yeah. I appreciate how thorough his videos are, but I seem to disagree with every idea he has, unfortunately.
Oh, interesting.
I except his Stasis video. I agree with most of what he said.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to dive into his other videos. But since then, I like his videos because of how thorough it is. And he, he's very direct. And some of his ideas are very good. I won't say they're all bad. But I do disagree a lot. Like, I think, like, I wouldn't want that to happen in the game, or I don't see how that would work. But he's putting out the videos and I'm not, so it's nice to just have ideas to bounce off of.
Right.
Well, and I mean, it's a conversation starting, right? It's like
exactly.
The PvP community saying we want changes, and he's putting out, well, what about this? And then people can talk about it. You go to the comments, and I'm sure it is discussed in Reddit posts and so forth as well. It's like keep the conversations going, because Bungie does have their ear to those to the content creators,
right? Which I think that's why I was saying I think it is time now that the community has all of these requests. And they have had continued requests, sustained requests for so long. It's time to just say, this is how much we can deliver, and this is how much is too much.
Right. It's time to come out with like a director's cut from like the PvP end and say, this is our PvP.
The director's cut did go into a lot of with the PvP, but it was...
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago, and it was, there have always been vague promises. Like, we want more gunplay. We're hearing you. We want more this. We want more that. But it's not like ever a structured, like, you can expect this many maps next year.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of vague. This is our philosophy, but not a lot of this is specifically what we're working towards.
And I know with game development, it's hard to get specific because a lot of time you don't know until you're down to the last minute.
But you can know that you can say we're working on this and don't know whether it will work or not, but we're at least working on it. They're telling us that about the solstice glow. Like, why can't they? Like, if they can tell us about the solstice glow, they certainly could tell us about whether or not they can import a map or two for Crucible, right?
Yeah.
Like I would hope that there's a lot of stuff going on in the background for PvP, and if there is, it's time to just come out and say, here are some things that we're really trying to work on.
And if there isn't, they should say, like, our focus is finishing the story. We're really into, right now we have a story we want to tell, and we will not be abandoning PvP. PvP is an important part of the game. It will always be an important part of the game, but this is this is
Well,
our
they
main
have
focus.
kind of said
But
that.
your PvP
they have said
playground
that.
right
No, I
now
know,
is what
I know.
you
But I'm
have.
saying that they haven't come out and said that and say this is how much you expect. They always
Exactly,
follow
they
up
haven't
with,
set the
and there'll
expectations.
be more to come.
They have to
it's
set
always, like,
expectations,
stringing
sure.
them along, and
Yeah,
I'm saying it's time to
No, I agree.
not just say PvP is important. You need to like actually be direct. This is how many maps can be in rotation at one time. This is how many game modes you can expect us to be working on at one time.
Yeah, it's building this like long-term kind of frustration where the response is always like, we hear you, we're listening, stuff is in the works, don't worry. It's like,
Right.
You know, they lost
It's
a
just
lot of
because-
trust when they said we won't launch trials until we get it right. And then they
Yeah,
launched trials,
But
and it
they've
was
also
not right.
there's been some missteps as well, and I think I agreed with the Kujay video when he talked about they added all these perks. So like you have the 16 perks in each column, and it's like your chances of getting a decent roll is like 9,000 to 1. And that's if you get the
that's
weapon
one of the
dropped.
criticisms I disagree with
Yeah.
I
completely.
mean, it's not so much a decent roll, but like if you want a specific roll.
Right.
The thing
So if
is,
you
they're
want
trying to
assertive
make it so that
barrel,
there aren't really
assertive
bad perks.
Yeah.
And,
But the, you
like,
know,
Yeah, but with that
I
many
think by them
combinations,
introducing that many into the perk pool, the message is clear. You will not be able to target every single slot on this weapon. And I'm okay with that. Because the real perks that, you know, you can still, if you like,
but
what am I
it,
trying to say? If you narrow down some of those perks, it's not 9,000. It's, you know, it's way more doable.
well, it's still
Right.
very little chance. And so, at what point does it become back to fixed rolls? You know,
Well, yeah,
like
but
people,
and that's what
people
I'm
lose
saying.
their
It's like,
incentive.
They're going back-
that would be my response. Is
Right.
if you want a specific role on a weapon, I think all weapons should have curated roles. And I was
and he
honestly
did
fine
talk
when that was
about
the case.
he did talk about acting, putting in weekly curated roles. You know,
or just going
like
going
Arms
back
Day.
to having a
I
couple of the,
I do agree with that.
I
do
like that
remember him
idea,
saying that,
too.
and that was one of the ones I agreed with. I just don't agree with the criticism that it's too hard to get the role, the exact role down to every
Right.
single perk that I want, because the game just isn't that.
well, and
Just don't be
stop-
that intense about it.
Right. Stop trying to get
Well-
that very specific role. Be more
Or,
like.
or the compromise is
like-
don't have
like some of
16 available perks.
Can you
Knock it
guys hear
down to
me?
9 or 8.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Another thing that they could do is just say, hey, look, like there's other content creators that say, hey, I got this role. Let's try it out. Because it could be that you're looking for a specific role, but this other role that you got is actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's
So
what
it's
I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say.
Right,
Is that,
it's-
like,
it's
instead of so much of the going after the god role, the game right now is set up to just trying to go for a role
Yeah.
you like, or like get the role, you know, focus for the weapon you want, and then you probably, even without focusing, I have like 20 of the
Right.
same weapon in my vault, right? So, or there's plenty to try out and find, you
Right.
know, and the god role just becomes your favorite of the one you got. Does that make sense? But this is a casual perspective, obviously. I am
Right, yeah.
completely.
So I think
that's casual.
I think he was his perspective is towards the more hardcore PvP player in that respect,
Yeah.
who wants to make content and review perk
Right.
rolls, and they can't with
Yes,
that many.
exactly.
So
Right.
moving right along, the
Well, let's move on
Nightfalls,
to-
the Nightfall.
Now they're bringing 3 new Nightfall weapons.
3 new Nightfall weapons, one of which is the Hung Jury. Is that correct?
I think we're all just going to be. I think that's the one that seems to be the one that everybody seems to be really excited about.
And if I'm looking at my bungo meter correctly here, the Hung Jury is the second most trending topic next to the Fallen Babies. So,
Yeah.
There was question on Twitter of like, how do you think they'll handle Firefly? Will they just make it Dragonfly?
Yeah, probably. Or
Because Dragonfly isn't a very like well-respected perk.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
no,
It'd be
I mean,
interesting to see what the
you can
perk-
enhance
they
it with
did
a mod.
say-
You can enhance Dragonfly
I mean,
with a
one of the
mod.
things.
That's why it's
One
like
of
it
the
is.
things. One of the things said in the TWAB, if I remember right, I don't have this in my notes, but I feel like they did say that there are some new perks coming this season.
Oh, if they brought back the perk from Oxygen onto Hung Jury, Anyone?
Megan Neuro?
I have a vague memory. Refresh me. What's Oxygen do?
Oxygen was the one that was like Firefly, but like just a bunch of explosions. Like it was the solar pinnacle weapon.
I do remember
scout rifle that you got from the Vanguard.
Well, Hung Jury is a it's not an energy, right? It's a kinetic.
Correct.
Well, yes,
it was.
But when they have brought, like the last season, when they brought back D1 weapons as the Nightfall weapons, they were reworked into energy slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's my next question.
Because if it's energy.
Oh, because if it was kinetic, and then you could get kinetic with
Dragonfly
osmosis.
Oh.
So you have a stasis scout rifle?
We may be getting one. They did say that we can be expecting some legendary stasis weapons.
I mean, they're already making osmosis, so that like whatever weapons you have in your vault right now that have osmosis will immediately. I mean, well, once the patch goes through,
I don't have any with osmosis. I always dismantle.
But
now that I can have stasis.
Yeah, I've got one or two. I think
I don't understand osmosis. I understand how it works. I just don't understand why you would ever want that.
It really seems like it would only be beneficial in like a Nightfall where you have
match game.
Sure, right. It gives you more options.
It's because I don't play the it's because I don't play the higher activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the match game is kind of it is. I ended up using it originally. I think it was before, like when we were first doing Deep Stone Crypt, in that final room, and you had those, you had the Void Captains. And there were times when I was like out of my energy weapon, and it was nice to have an osmosis kinetic weapon that I could use to get the shield down when I needed it to go down. So
that's probably why you died so much to those captains.
Probably. But at any rate, I mean, for me, it like I've used it on occasion. So and.
Stego loves it. I've heard Stego use it.
It'll be fun playing with it as well with the I never use elemental capacitor, however. Like that's the perk that I just like whatever. I don't like
Yeah.
Wow, shots fired.
Same though. I think I have one on my posterity, but I just
I just really just like every time it comes up, I can't remember what any of it does, so I have to go into the weapon, see what elemental capacitor is, and so what perk does it give me if I'm doing this subclass? It's just like it's too like I just can't seem to remember it. Maybe it's because I just don't. All right, so
moving along, there's the Plug 1.1 fusion rifle, which is I guess another one of the Nightfall ones, right?
I don't remember that weapon at all. Do you guys remember it?
I have no recollection of this. It must have been.
I have no memory of this one.
Trials one? So it was a Vanguard.
Was it? No, it was like if you look at this picture, it looks like it was definitely a Vanguard
weapon, right? But
honestly, when I look at the thumbnail, the image next to the title there, next to Plug 1, I think Praetorian foil. And I hardly ever use Praetorian foil.
I hardly ever use that either.
I think the name, Daniel, is from Plug 1.1. That's the original Destiny 1 name.
Yeah, that's the original name. But it has the same. You'd say same archetype.
Mm-hmm. Same archetype, same color scheme. I have no memory of this gun at all. I have no nostalgia.
I have no memory either.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I didn't remember the jury, so my memory isn't relevant.
We'll see. We'll see how. And I don't think we have a picture of it, but there's also a sniper rifle.
There's a sniper, an Omelon sniper rifle. I forget what it's called. Does anybody remember?
I just said it. Irene RR4.
The Irene RR4. Okay, yeah. Richard's probably going to want that one. I'm thinking, for sure.
Because of the name
Yeah.
Irene.
No, he likes snipers.
I
He likes
think
a
he
good
just likes
sniper.
going after all the Nightfall ones, and then of course you're going to get adept versions of all of those. So
Is the palindrome leaving?
in the
Or is it
first
being
half of the
added?
season,
First half of the season, it's going
and
away.
they're not retiring them completely. They're just taking them out of the loot pool originally, and then later on in the season, I'm thinking probably like the last third of the season, they'll put those back in the loot pool.
Oh, for people to make it a better chance to get the new ones. Okay. I was like thinking, like, why would they do that?
So people can, so because it rotates, right? So if you have 6 in rotation as opposed to 3 in rotation, it's going to, like, you would only have a couple of chances to get the new one. So I think they're going to do probably 2 rotations.
They should just add the old ones to Strike playlist as like a very rare drop.
Yeah. And maybe that's what they're doing. Like, you just can't get the adept version. I don't know.
Well, I
They
want
didn't really talk about that.
I want to take this up.
I mean, they just.
Wow.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, no, I was just going to take this opportunity to congratulate our 2 hunters in the chat here for winning Guardian games. And the reason I'm doing that is to temper the next topic, which is a nerf coming to the hunters. Yeah.
And you know what? In all honesty,
Hunter, Revenant,
I didn't feel
nerf.
like Silence and Squall was that great in the first place. Like, I just, like, it's okay, and it's a nice ad clearing thing to, like, be able to freeze all the enemies, but
Well,
I
it
don't
freezes
know.
and shatters them.
yeah,
Sally Bug, they're cutting your radius almost in half for the freeze
what radius?
detonation.
well, by a third. I think it's by a third.
What is the actual nerf? I'm not familiar with this one.
I think it used to have the Hunter Revenant, the Silence and Squall used to have like a 12-meter radius, and now it's being reduced to 8.
8.5. 8.5 meters.
I feel like that's fair. I just not like it.
Well, that's not the bad part of the nerf, though.
Oh,
The bad part is the enemy squall now has a red ring to define area as it approaches.
Well, that's a PvP nerf. That's
That's actually helpful in PvE because I can't ever tell where my squall is going.
So that's helping
no, but
the
it's
hunt.
only the enemy one.
No.
Yeah, but now you're
It's
gonna.
only-
Only an enemy
ring.
one has a red ring. Oh, then never mind.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
just
it doesn't
for
help us
PvP.
at all. I never know where mine's going to
All
go
of this
either. Is it
really
going to go
seems
off to the
geared
left,
at
or is it going to go off to
PvP.
the right? Is it related to where I first threw it, or is it related to where my body is going? I
You
still
can
haven't
adjust
fully gotten
each
my
one.
head around. Yeah.
You can adjust each one to throw them in a different space. It's
Right,
where your
right.
body is pointed.
My big question is
Like I
this:
said, I haven't fully.
are the
gotten my head
NPC
around.
enemies, like in a strike or a
Gonna see
lost
that red
sector,
ring?
are they going to be able to see that red ring exactly?
Yeah, and then you'll
Run
have a
out of it.
captain flash away from it. Silence Squall coming.
It already does that. It's
Yeah,
not-
they already flash every quarter of a second.
Well, I used my Revenant last night in Strike's playlist, and it ripped through quite a bit of enemies. I'd be fine if it, takes
Had
out
a smaller
couple less.
radius. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's fine.
definitely
I don't care.
use it for like a strike playlist, but I don't for higher end activities. It's certainly not one I would ever still. I mean, I'm not going to give up my Night Stalker.
Okay.
I use it
For it.
mostly for its for the shuriken.
Yes, yeah. If I need to get
It's like
melee kills,
it's a very
great.
good ability.
All
Right,
right.
because you get 2. So
Yeah.
So this next TWAB highlight, I think, deserves a little bit of an introduction because it's so cool. The next TWAB highlight. It's a quality of life change. What do you think?
I was excited when I saw this.
I was very excited. It's the new nav
I-
mode that they're adding to
Mm-hmm.
keep track of your bounties, basically, right? And quests, I believe. There's
Do we
some
have a picture of it?
there's some menu choices
There
here.
it is.
So when
Yeah.
you pull up your ghost, right? You're greeted with kind of a new thing, and it's a thing of beauty. It's wonderful, and we at the Paracasual Destiny podcast fully endorse these sort of changes to the game, for sure.
This QOL, I swear to God, like the amount of time that I like push the button to get to the map screen and then, have to do the bumper twice to get to where my quests are to see what the quests are. This is going to be great. And it was always so frustrating that you could only track 3 of quests and bounties like combined. It was very frustrating. So this is going to be amazing that you can just kind of have that quick snapshot.
Oh my gosh.
Where you're doing.
You can't track bounties anymore, but they're all there. They now appear in this new nav mode.
But you can't track them?
You can't track
I thought
bounties.
you just track 6 now, not just from the screen. It's just going to be all in there?
They're all in there.
No, I think they're just all in there so you can kind of like scroll up and down. So I don't know if you have, like if there's the next...
But you can
QOL,
track triumphs.
With this happening, the next QOL would be to be able to change
Track a
which
triumph?
one is...
And quests. I think you can
change
still
the
track
order
quests.
that they're in, right?
No, you're not going to be able to change the order.
You can't do that now. It's like I'm saying that's the next one that they need to do.
I just know from you're not going to ever be able to do that. That's too much.
Track Triumph now appears
Tempering
in its own
expectations.
nav mode category. Interesting. I can't wait to try this out. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I love
The
little
quest will be
QOL
very
changes.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sallybug still in?
I don't know. Are you there,
I think we
Sallybug?
lost her.
She keeps getting kicked today. Thanks,
Yeah.
Discord.
Thanks, Bungie.
Yeah, and then what else did we? What else was in this TWAB? The most recent one. Oh, trace rifle mods, new crucible
yes.
modes in rotation. So there's a little bit of a bone to the crucible people. Certainly nowhere near what we were talking about before. And also Solstice Armor Glow possible fix. I see here in Sallybug's notes. Also, you'll want to claim rewards from the rewards page by the 14th. Yeah, so there's going to be some shopkeeping we're going to be doing before the season ends. This season ends and Season of the Splicer begins, right? So you should probably check out Bungie.net and make sure you've claimed all of what season are we in? Season 13. So next is season 14. Do I have that right? Or was last?
I think we're in 14.
We're in 14 now. Season of the Splicer will be season 15. So we're in 14 now, which means you can still, before the end of this season, you can still go back to season 13 Game Pass things that you might not have collected, even if it's a bunch of glimmer. Probably worth going and at least seeing what you left behind. I thought I collected everything, and I went there and looked, and I was like, whoa, okay, all sorts of materials and a few exotic engrams too that I didn't pick up. So you can do that, right?
That's from this. That's from the season pass, but also going to the Bungie rewards page. You have access to like there was like a powerful engram in my.
Sure.
In mine.
Yeah. It's
I
worth
don't
checking
know what
out.
It was from.
It's worth checking
it's
out.
Definitely worth.
Well, I think you just get a powerful engram from Bungie Rewards every season.
Right. So if you haven't gone to Bungie, because it's a whole separate page, so it's just go to that Bungie rewards page.
Yeah, they have
from the
emblems
Bungie.
and some good goodies. Some stuff you can buy as well, but keep an eye out for the freebies.
Yeah, keep your eye out for the freebie. Absolutely.
So I think that wraps it up for the last 2 weeks.
Well, Momentum Control is coming back finally, according to Richard.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think a
guess
lot of people are
Richard,
happy about that too.
What was the difference between momentum control and control again? You'll have to remind me because
You don't have any shields in
PvP.
momentum control, so you can get one shot killed by Jade Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no shields.
That's the biggest difference.
It's a fun way to get scout rifle kills if you in the Crucible if you need
Yeah.
If you need them.
Yeah.
It's also a good way to get
If you're
kills.
still working on getting Randy's.
It's
Which has been
basically
sunset.
whoever shoots first wins.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down
So
to.
if you're a good shot, you're all right. So that's a mode I'm going to stay out of for sure.
So let's talk about coffee now. Does anybody have any good coffee that they've been drinking here in our little Paracasual coffee emporium?
Just finishing a coffee from a pot that I brewed this morning, right now.
Okay.
A blend of half lumberjack roast and half flavored cinnamon roll.
Ooh,
So it's very
It's almost
nice.
like a
That sounds
dessert coffee.
really good.
lumberjack roast. You've got me intrigued there. Where do you get that?
Gosh, yum.
Austin
It's
Coffee
an
Traders.
Austin-based, right?
Austin. Okay, so it's a local roast then.
Texas
What's the
Roasters?
what's
I forget.
It's from Indonesia, Sally. You would like it. Boldly smooth, rich,
Yeah,
and
check it
earthy,
out.
with notes of dark
did.
chocolate. Yeah.
I sent it to them.
Is it wild coffee?
we-
Is it the Wild Foods coffee? Am I at the right one? I might have spoken out of turn here.
What?
I don't know that. I don't.
Yep,
I
it
think
is.
it's
Called
It is.
Texas Coffee
Roasters.
Traders.
Okay, Texas
Yeah.
Coffee
Yeah,
Traders.
Texas Coffee Roast.
Coffee
Roasted
Trader.
in small batches locally in Austin. We too are drinking a local roast up here in Maine. Sally Bug,
Yeah.
do you want to?
I went out of our comfort zone and went with a Kenyan just to try a different bean. It's almost like a completely different drink.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And you can even see it in it's not as a deep roasted. It's not as much of a dark roast. So when you put it through the grinder, when you put it through the burr grinder, there's even specks of like light brown that come with it. It's not like that dark chocolatey
Yeah,
color.
I don't know about you, but I'm detecting some sort of hints of cocoa in it compared to the Sumatra that we've been drinking. So
And so
Very
a combination
pleasing.
of that with a little bit of amaretto flavor in it. So it's quite good. It's very good. I don't think it's something that I will go to regularly. I still really prefer my Indonesian Sumatra, and that it's just like the, to me that's I just really love that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's one of your favorites.
it really is.
So I think it's time we can sort of put the specials in motion here, our special sections of the podcast where we talk about the lore a little bit and the sounds of Destiny, and we'll start with our special feature today, A Touch of Grimoire, starring Sally Bug as your lore master. Or lore matron.
So let's get
Lore
a
Mama.
slide up there, and was hoping that Stego, as always, will read the lore from
The Truth?
from the rocket launcher Truth.
Okay. Are we ready? Can do that.
And then we'll go from there. And maybe Sultan will change our slide as well.
Oh, good point.
Maybe one day.
Best slide of the show.
Truth is where you seek it. Lomar. Smoke winds away from the battlefield in wavering scars. Corsairs and crows move through the wreckage in pairs, searching for their dead. When they find awoken survivors, they call for help. When they find a devil or a wolf, they call for a field medic and prison-grade restraints. A vandal watches all of this from the wing of a galliot, with his 4 arms folded around his knees. He knows battle, and so death does not disturb him. He was born of war, made for it, shaped by it. And yet, at the charred bodies of his cousins, at the bent bodies of his new allies. Vel, Jura says, startling. He peers down to find her on tiptoes, chin on the edge of the galliot's wing. She puts her thumb over her shoulder, indicating the battlefield. This is a word I can't pronounce. I'm trying to speak Elixni here. Parimoculum? He frowned. Rescaculum? Sekisk. She frowns back at him, and though she only has 2 eyes, her stare is mother strong. The vandal sighs and lets go of his knees. Pharisis, he grumbles as he slides off the galliot, bulking past her. Ha ha, she replies, humorless. He picks his way down to the worst of it and joins the search. Over the next hour, he finds a wolf that he half remembers from a distant relative's coming-of-age ceremony. 3 devils who look at him with uncomprehending confusion. And 1 crow irretrievably trapped beneath the fuselage of his ship. He is about to abandon a ruined devil's skiff when he hears a faint hiss from inside a ventilation. He clambers up to peer into its grate and sees 4 wary eyes shining back at him. A hatchling, still soft and translucent with its egg mold. Carefully, he pries the grate open and beckons to her. Velask, Kelek, he murmured. None Kemrak. She crawls into his palm, and his heart surges.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Yeah.
There's our first experience with the Elixni hatchlings, the Elixni babies that are prominent in the trailer. Well, they're probably not prominent, but the one that everybody latched on.
They are now.
And the main characters in that lore are Mithrax and Sir Ido. We talked about how to pronounce
Wait,
that.
is it Mithrax? I thought it was Varix. You said Varices.
I know he says Varices, but we're pretty sure that actually, because Sir Ido and Mithrax have a relationship, right? That's one that started back in when Mithrax was originally a prisoner, and Sir Ido was his warden, I guess is the best way to word it. And Mithrax tried to escape. I don't know if they were walking somewhere. I'm not really sure what they were doing, but I'm pretty sure the story goes that Mithrax tried to throw himself off a cliff, and Sir Ido saved him from doing that. And it kind of like changed their relationship, and they went from being warden and prisoner to more of like a partnership.
Gotcha.
Mithrax eventually like became, and those are the 2. That's like she said, even though he had 2 eyes instead of 4, meaning that Sir Ido was kind of like his, like the mother figure, the care, like became more of a caregiver versus because when Mithrax was a prisoner, he was young. It's like a vandal, just like not a captain, like hadn't like raised up in the rank of the Fallen yet, or of the Elixni. So they became, rather than being warden prisoner, they became kind of like mother or caregiver and adopted son, and developed that relationship. And that's kind of what's going on there, is that they're in that lore story that Daniel just read. It's the they're looking through wreckage to find any survivors from a battle. So I'm pretty sure it's Mithrax. I'm not quite sure why he's saying.
No, I agree though it's Mithrax. I was just confused with the very.
I think it's the language that, and if you're really interested in some in-depth look at the Elixni language, there is a Reddit post, and I think there's also something on Ishtar Collective that does kind of an in-depth look at the language and what possibly some of these words mean. So if you're interested in that, go for it and take a look. There's resources out there that give it a go on what those words mean.
It'd be cool if Duolingo had Elixni as an option.
Elixni.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually when we get this Destiny 2 TV show off the ground.
Well, they're in contract with. Well, they're not in contract with. I don't know that, but there are going to be some contracts coming up because they did file for the rights to other media. And I hope Disney's listening in, because they could. We could hatch an idea for a new pilot for a Destiny 2 series called The Vandalorian, and it would center around the transport of a baby Mithrax.
Oh no!
I hope Destiny's not listening. We're gonna get cease and desist immediately.
All right, so Mithrax is gonna take a pretty active role in this season, and we already talked about how we've encountered him before. We encountered him in the Enemy of My Enemy quest on Titan. He's the one.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I just did find on that Reddit post what varices means, and it means unyielding, and the Elixni called Shur Siurix Pak varices, Shur the unyielding.
Wow. Good show.
Sorry, Shur the unyielding
he was likely
is the awoken, though. She's not an Elixni.
No, that's what they call her.
Oh, that's what they call her.
That's what the Elixni
I
call
got
her.
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
right.
they call her Siorix Pak varices, which means Sur the unyielding. So he was saying varices, and he was saying unyielding.
Unyielding. So he's kind of like just talking about like responding to her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Siur.
Thank you.
Is probably the way you pronounce that? SJUR.
Yeah. Siur.
Siur.
Ido. Yeah. She's in the lore quite a bit too, so you can take a deeper dive for her. She's in there actually almost more than Mithrax. So Mithrax, we talked about, he's the captain that we saved, that we choose to spare, or maybe you didn't, but we did anyway, choose to spare in that Enemy of My Enemy quest. He's a Splicer, which is almost like a scientist, like an Elixni scientist. So has
a mad scientist.
A mad scientist.
He's a Splicer.
He also is the one who kind of like helped us get access to the Sivatech and get our Ghost's beloved outbreak perfected in that story mission. And then he also, like more recently, he is he's become Kel of House of Light, which means they're more in tune with like still following Guardians and serving the Traveler. And so he has this, the House of Light, and they're trying to escape on Europa. And there is a story mission where we are
Spoilers.
fighting air. Okay, fighting Aramis and helping him and his skiff to escape. So there are both Evade and My Name is Blythe have put out lore videos on Mithrax and his background. So if you're interested in kind of getting like up to speed on who he is before the next season starts, those are great videos to
Consume
and start. There we go.
There we go. And to kind of wrap up this episode, we're going to do a, you guessed it, Destiny sound check. And let me see if I can actually get the slide going for this episode's Destiny sound check is featuring the voice talents of Ray Chase. So Ray is the voice of Mithrax. He does the voice work for the voice acting for Mithrax. And he was born May 20th, 1987. So he's got a birthday coming up. So we're also celebrating his upcoming birthday. He was born in New Jersey. He's best known for playing Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. He also played Eve in Nier Automata. And now he is actually credited as the voice of Mithrax in Destiny 2, but he's also credited to a character called Talus, which I couldn't find any information on. If anybody knows who Talus is, let us know. And also a trapped ghost. Also, I couldn't find much information on that. Certainly, we all know who Mithrax is. Ray has a resume a mile long for anime voices, commercials, ranging from Diet Coke to you name it, and certainly a long catalog of video game voices he has done. So we're going to feature some of his work here. I'd like to start off by hearing Ray as himself. And here he is introducing an interview he did for Final Fantasy Union back in 2018. Here's Ray Chase with his everyday speaking voice.
Hey, this is Ray Chase, voice of Prince Noctis Lucis Kylum in Final Fantasy 15. Thanks so much for listening to Final Fantasy Union, and like I'm known to say, meow meow choco chow.
So meow meow choco chow is his catchphrase. Can't do that with a straight face. Anyway, and I have some samples here from some of his other work before we hear him as our beloved Mithrax. Here is Ray as Noctis in Final Fantasy.
And yet he chose to protect only one prince. Was that his calling? Forsake the masses to spare his own son? Entrusted it to me. Then why didn't he tell me that? Why did he stand there smiling as I left?
Very good voice acting there. And obviously versatile, very versatile. I also have a sample here for us to enjoy of his performance as Eve in Nier Automata. Here he is as Eve.
And here you are. I know you two feel the same. That this world is utterly meaningless. As far as I'm concerned, my brother was everything.
Classic. All right. And last but not least, we want to hear Ray's interpretation of his character of Mithrax. And this comes from the latest trailer that just came out. Here he is.
We must splice an entrance to the Vex network. I can guide you, but I cannot follow. Once inside, you must find your own way.
Very good. I am so hyped. And once again, we at the Paracasual Destiny podcast wish Ray a happy birthday coming up here on May 20th. Make sure we'll put his information in the our description, and maybe you can send him some birthday greetings and even follow him on Twitter. So, yep, that has been the Destiny sound check for this episode. And at this time, I would like to ask the group if what they've been doing outside of Destiny, any non-Destiny media consumption that's been going on.
Yes.
Stego and Romance? What you
we
guys
gotta
up to?
We gotta say, last week, the last pod, so 2 weeks ago, we did watch something that we forgot to mention.
Oh, okay.
And it was really important to us that we bring it up. The final season of the animated series Infinity Train has launched. And it's a good season. It's a good well, they actually call them books. So
Book 4. It's an anthology series.
Yeah. Season of it. Each book follows a different storyline.
Nice.
Neat.
And it's just really great. And if you have access to HBO Max, I really recommend you check it out.
It's
Definitely
like
something to
sci-fi
do.
horror comedy.
Yeah.
Neat. Yeah.
Animation. Beautiful animation.
Beautiful animation. Beautiful story.
A lot of good hand-drawn animation still getting made out there.
Oh, I love it.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
Definitely check it out.
I definitely want to check that out for sure.
And what are we watching right now? Search Party. A lot darker.
Also on HBO Max.
Also on HBO.
And it's actually not that much darker. Book 3 got pretty dark.
Search. It's called Search Party.
Yeah, it's a dark comedy on
Okay.
HBO Max.
Cool. All right. Sally Bug?
And well, and I think that we kind of just stumbled across this by accident. Is like because our Samsung TV has just TV channels, and the Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. There's a channel that just plays those episodes back to back to back to back
Nonstop.
on a rotation
24/7. Gordon Ramsay.
and we just think we were just tired and didn't feel like searching for anything, and it just came up, and then we just got sucked in and couldn't stop watching.
And
So
couldn't stop
we've
laughing
watched-
either. I don't know why we were laughing so much at the expense
And
of
it
other
turns
people's
out,
tragedies.
Our coworker is doing the same
Yeah,
thing.
that-
Just
coincidentally.
we didn't talk with each other. Coincidentally, we didn't talk with each other or anything.
And that added
so
fuel
she's
to the
been doing
fire,
it, and so we're
sure.
having a lot of fun, just like throwing Gordon just phrases from the show back and forth with each other. So
Yeah.
it's kind of formulaic, but it's fun, and it's always fun to see Gordon Ramsay just be disgusted at we're always just look, they know he's coming. Why didn't they clean? Why didn't they clean or put their best foot forward and try to it's hilarious. It's very hilarious. So anyway, having a lot of fun with that one. It's mindless. It's a great way to just kind of let off steam if you're just coming home from a hard
Mindless
day's work.
reality
And
TV has definitely had its spot in this pandemic.
I miss
For sure.
I miss
Just turn off the
Yori's
brain.
Bed and Breakfast. Quite frankly, I think I need to go back and watch that again.
Yeah,
Just
that's good for your
Yes,
health.
we want to do a rewatch this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another one we recommend. Hiyori's Bed and Breakfast. Or
Bed and
It's a-
Breakfast.
it's a great
definitely
reality.
want to do
Homestay.
it.
It's also called Hiyori's Homestay.
Yeah,
Right.
I definitely want to do a rewatch of that one. That one was also another one that was just like, you could put it on and just like all of a sudden all of your stress just melts away for no reason.
Yeah, it's so good for the soul. It's healing.
We're getting a recommendation in the chat as well, a non-Destiny content experience. Invincible, streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
I have not seen that one. I'll have
And
to-
from what I know of that one, I have not seen it either, but that is an adult animated series.
Yes,
Not recommended for children.
not recommended for children.
Very graphic from what I hear.
Graphic
That's all
and
I've heard
gritty.
about it. But now I hear that it's also recommended.
Right.
I'm going to quickly recommend a documentary on Netflix called "This Is a Robbery." It's about the world's largest art heist that ever took place. It took place in 1990 in Boston, and two people dressed up as Boston police officers got themselves buzzed in, like 1 a.m. into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston and took a bunch of paintings. They stole a Rembrandt and
Wow.
and it's just one of those documentaries. It's got all these sort of side stories to it that are fascinating and interesting, and it's just a really bizarre slice of New England history. Yeah, I thought it was.
That sounds interesting.
Sure. Was it 19? Yeah, I think I got the year right. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. Is it a wrap? Yeah.
I think it's a wrap.
I think it is a wrapped chicken, and so we would.
I do want to kind of like toot my own horn. We didn't really talk much about how much Destiny we played, but last week was our vacation, our April break, and
Right.
our spring break, and I pretty much played Destiny nonstop. Did a lot of catching
Toot
up.
that horn.
Finished a lot of like Beyond Light original stuff that I had never gotten to. Like I think I finally finished all of, unlocked all of Varix's nodes or whatever they're called.
Right.
But it gives you access to something else, and that I don't even really know. But it was just like it's sitting in my quest all this time, and so it's like I was able to kind of like take that off. You and I also found all the. We didn't do the lost ghost traces on the moon, but we did find all the. What did we give the rice cakes to? I forget.
Rabbits.
The Jade Rabbit.
The rabbits.
jade
We gave
rabbits.
the rabbits the jade
I have
rabbits
one more
their
I need to
rice
give a
cake.
rice cake to. Sitting in my
we were
hand.
able we were able to do all of that too, so that was kind of fun too, like just to get
Yeah.
some of those things that just been like obviously the rice cake one's been sitting around since Shadowkeep came about, so the true casual but it was a great feeling to feel. I'm not 100% obviously caught up, but to like catch up on.
Yeah, you can do the Penguins next spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, next year. The summer
Maybe a
is
little
upon
bit
us.
Summer.
Yeah.
maybe.
Summer's like
is
5
upon
weeks
us.
away, 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
So
The
Yeah.
countdown is on.
Yeah.
the countdown is on.
Countdown
yes.
is on,
Mhm.
and we'll have plenty of time to dot those I's and cross those T's in the world of Destiny. So
And
just
it'll feel it's nice because the next DLC got delayed until after into 2022. It's like this summer you can do it at a more casual pace. Right now I'm feeling like I've got to get caught up before the next DLC comes, because the next DLC is not coming for a while. So
Yeah, I'm excited for this new season. And next time we record
Yeah, me
this
too.
pod, we'll be in the thick of it seems.
We really will.
season hype. Anyway, Signing off. We broadcast live every other Saturday morning. So 2 weeks from now, you'll be able to find us here at or around 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. But you can listen to us anytime on your preferred podcast outlet. Follow us on Twitter at ParacasualP or subscribe and love our YouTube channel here. This has been a great episode. It's been a long episode, a long time coming. But I think that about wraps it up, and we will see you 2 weeks from now. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.